ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरि ओम। सुमुखश्च एकदन्तश्च कपिलो गजकर्णकः लंबोदरश्च विकटो विघ्नराजो विनायकः धूमकेतुर्गणाध्यक्षः फालचन्द्रो गजाननः वक्रतुण्डः सूर्पकर्णो हेरम्बः स्कन्दपूर्वजः शुक्लाम्बरधरं विष्णुं शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये। यस्य द्विरदवक्त्राभ्याः पारिषद्भ्याः परस्तथं विघ्नं विघ्नन्ति सततं विश्वक्सेनं तमाश्रये। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुसाक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। सच्चिदानंदरूपाय कृष्णाय अक्लिष्टकारिणे नमो वेदान्तवेद्याय गुरवे बुद्धिसाक्षिणे कृष्णद्वैपायनं व्यासं सर्वभूतहिते रतं वेदाब्जभास्करं वन्दे समाधिनिलयं मुनिम्। जन्माद्यस्य यतः अन्वयात् यतरतश्च अर्थेषु अभिघ्नः स्वराट् तेने ब्रह्महृदायः आदिकवये मुह्यन्ति यत् सूरयः तेजोवारिमृतां यथा विनिमयो यत्र सर्गो मृषा धाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि धर्मः प्रोचिधकैतवोऽत्र परमो निर्मत्सराणां सतां वेद्यं वास्तवम् अत्र वस्तु शिवदं तापत्रयोन्मूलनम्। श्रीमद् भागवते महामुनिकृते किं वा परैरीश्वरः सद्यो हृदि अवरुध्यतेः अत्र कृतिभिः शुश्रूषिभिः तत्क्षणात् निगमकल्पतरोर्गलितं फलं सुखमुखात् अमृतद्रवसंयुतं पिबत भागवतं रसमालयं मुहुरहो रसिकाः भुवि भावुकाः। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयम् उदीरयेत्। Now with Swami's grace we came up to Slokam number 14, Adhyayam 33, Skandham number 3. Now we will take up 15 through 20 today, 6 Slokams. These, all the 6 Slokams basically describe in detail or give an indication of the opulence, the wealth, the phenomenal amount of wealth and the materialistically of what Kardama's house was. Remember, after marrying Devahuti with his yogic power, he created basically a palatial aeroplane. And with that, if you recall, he traveled with Devahuti through all the planets, various planets, not just within or Bhulokam, within various planets he went to. And the phenomenal type of aircraft it is. So this is something to remember. And what kind of a place it was, that is what is described right here, just to tell us, just for people like me, to remind me, what did Devahuti do? She left behind all this opulence, of this materialistic attractions, tremendous amount of wealth, all kinds of comforts, luxurious life. She left all that and did tremendous penance and austerity, discipline, sacrifice, in order to learn the pathway to Atma Vidya from her son, the avataram of Bhagavan, Kapilopadesam. So the idea here is sacrifice, the learning. And what did she leave behind? That is what is being described here. And so we will take the slokam. I'll read all the slokam first and then take one at a time and we'll go through the padarthanga. Prajapatehe kardamasya tapo yoga vijrumbhitam swagarhatyam anaupamyam prartya vaimanikaihi apihi payaha thena nibaha sayya dhanta rutma पच्छिदाः आसनानि च हैमानि सुस्पर्शास्तरणानि च स्वच्छ स्फटिक कुढेषु महामारकतेषु च Ratna Pradipa Abhanti Lalana Ratna Samyutaha Gruhodhyanam Kusumitaihi Ramyam Bhakva Marad Drumaihi Kujat Vihanka Mithunam Gayan Matta Madhu Vratam Yatra Pravishtamatmanam Vibudhanu Chara Jabughu Vapyam Utpala Gandhinyam Kardamena Upalalitam Hitva Tat Ipsita Tamam Api Akandala Yoshitam Kinchit Chakara Vadanam Putra Vislesha Natura. Now, each one slokam at a time. Slokam number 15. Prajapatehe Kardamasya Tapo Yoga Vijrumbhitam. Now, can you please mute yourself? Over it is. Just start it, please. Thank you. Sa Gargastyam Anaupamyam Prarthya Vaimanikaihi Api. Once more. Prajapatehe Kardamasya Tapo Yoga Vijrumbhitam Sa Gargastyam Anaupamyam Prarthya Vaimanikaihi Api. Anaupamya means incomparable. There's nothing that you can equate it to. Okay? Yeah. Now, Kardamasya Prajapatehe, the Karjama Prajapatis, Tapo Yoga Vijrumbhitam. A Vijrumbhitam means in appearing, manifested in splendor, in effulgence, due to Kardamasya Prajapatehe Tapo Yoga, due to the yogic power and the power of the tapas of Kardama Prajapati. What was manifested in such effulgence? Swagargastyam Anaupamyam Swagargastyam. Anaupamyam, incomparable. Swagargastyam, your own graham. Okay, graham, and the house and the associated strings with the house, which is incomparable, shining in effulgence, obtained by or developed by, manifested by, not obtained, manifested by Bhagavan, by Kapila, by Kardama Prajapati, Tapa Yoga power, yogic power. And this was such, it was such supreme and exalted. Vaimanikaihi api prarthya. Even the devas were prarthya. They were all praying for such things, to get something like this, even something beyond the reach of the devas. That's a kind of house it was. Swagargastyam. Okay? Prajapatehe Kardamasya Tapo Yoga Vijrumbhitam Swagargastyam Anupamyam Praptya Vaimanikaihi Api. Now, what was so exalted about it that even the devas would want it, would desire it? Payaha Pera Nibaha Sayya Dhanta Rukma Pachigaha Asanani Cha Haimani Tusparsas Karanani Cha. Now, slowly, what was in there, giving an indication of what was there in this beautiful, beautiful house, which was really an aeroplane, palatial it was. And in this house, Karjama Prajapati spent a certain amount of time as a householder, as he promised. Not only Srimad Narayana gave him that boon, right? Because if you recall, just to quickly recall, to review that, Karjama Prajapati was not interested. Mahavishnu came to tapas. Srimad Narayana came and said, "This is what you've got to do, my command to you." Then he says, "Swami, please, if this is your command, I will do. Even though my mind is not there, I will carry it out." Then Srimad Narayana tells him, this Swayambhuva Manu will come and he will give his daughter Devahuti in marriage to you, and you because the charter is to procreate, to develop, right? So you do that, and then I will be born to her as a son, and then we'll teach her the Bhakti Yoga, Sathya Yoga, and all that. And then Karjama Prajapati said, "Swami, I will do it, Swami, but as soon as it is done, please, I want to go back and do my tapas, continue, and I want to reach you." That's what, if you recall, that in a very nutshell, that's what happened. So here, this now, then they created this palatial house and travel the space with it, and that's going to be described, and I'm going to take you a little bit fast because these padagal are fairly straightforward and gives you a description of what was there. So we don't need to dwell too much on those. Payaha pena nibaha. Payaha pena nibaha. Payaha means milk, and pena. Pena means foam. So the milk foam is white in color. Okay? So payaha pena nibaha. Nibaha means shining. So what was shining white? Shining white like the foam, the milk foam. And what was it? Sayaha, the mattresses. Okay? And Rukma Parichadaha Dhantaha. Rukma means gold. Rukma Parichadaha. Parichadaha means the legs of the cot. Right? So they are all made out of gold. Rukma Parichadaha Dhantaha. And also they are made with ivory, and then on top of that there is gold ornamented and all that. So beautiful, luxurious cot and very white mattresses and bed sheets and all that. And Haimani means again gold, and Haimani Susparsa Taranani cha. Susparsa means very soft to touch, very pleasant to touch. Astaranani. Astarana means various, not like bed sheet, but the throws. We have throws, that furniture throws and all that we do. They were all very soft to touch. So asanani cha means chairs, like chairs and couches and stuff like that. They were all made out of gold and very. They had on top of them very soft. The furniture throws made with gold embroideries and all that. Okay, so Haimani Susparsa Asaranani cha. Okay, then Maha Maraka Deshu Svacha Spadika Kudyeshu. Let's take that. Now you get an idea of what the bed was, what the mattress was, what the various chairs and couches were. Now, what about the walls in the palace? The walls were all made with high-class emerald and marble. They made out of marble with spadika means marble. Okay, Svacha Spadika Kudyeshu. Kudyeshu means walls. Spadika is marble. And Sathya means very pure, high quality marble walls. And they all had Maha Marakadeshu. They had beautiful jewels, the emerald jewels embedded in them. It was so beautiful. And not only that, then the walls also had Lalana Ratna Samyutaha Ratna Pradipaha cha. The walls were made out of marble with lots of emerald ornaments and emerald embedded in there. And then on top of that, he also had Lalana Ratna Samyutaha Ratna Pradipaha. Lalana Samyutaha. Now, the jewels were so effulgent, they were all various, they were embedded like lamps. And they were all shining. They were all, you know how the gem actually radiates light? So it is like that. And there were ladies with lady figurines embedded in the walls. And the Ratna Pradipaha, that itself, the Ratna Pradipaha, Ratna means the various jewels. Pradipaha, they were all shining, giving out so much light it was on marble walls. So beautifully and so opulent it was. Then, so this is one. Then, what about the garden? What about when you come outside this hall? There's a beautiful garden there. Kusumitaihi Bhakva Marat Rumaihi Ramyam Kujat Vihanga Mithunam Gayan Matta Madhu Bratam. Okay? That is it. I'm going to describe the garden now. And the Kusumitaihi means the flowers that are blooming. The garden has got beautiful blossoming flowers, and along with, of course, fruits and all that. Bhakva Marat Rumaihi, high class, celestial trees, Karpagavaksham we call it, right? Whatever you want, the tree will give you. Those kind of trees were there. Ramyam, very beautiful. Now, beautiful not only to see, which is what the flowers and the trees and fruits are all, but also to hear, to listen. Kujat, Vihanga, Miduna. Vihanga means bird. Kujat means they were all singing, Mitunam, in pairs. Both the male and female birds, they were all paired together. Very happily they were singing, and which is so Ramyam to the ears, to listening. And not only that, in the garden, you also have Gaya, Matta, Madhu, Bhratam. So there's a swarm of bees that are all intoxicated with the various honey that they sucked out from the flowers. So they were all humming. Just imagine how pleasant and beautiful this palace and the place is. So Slokam 17 again, and then I'll go to 18. Sathya, Spadika, Kudhyeshu, Maha Marakateshu cha, Ratna Pradipaha Abhanti, Lalana, Ratna Samyutaha. The Ratna Pradipaha Abhanti. Whenever you see Bha means it is shining effulgent. Okay? Abhanti Ratna Pradipaha. These various embedded emeralds themselves, which are now being carried by almost like the lampshade, carried by the various trees, they are all shining. Abhanti. That's what this word means. I forgot to give you the meaning of that. Now going on to 18. Gruhyodhan, we actually covered that. Gruhodhyanam kusumitaihi ramyam bhakra marad drumaihi kujat vihanga mithunam gayat matta madhu vratam. We saw that. Gruhya udhyanam. Udhyana means you can say garden or places outside the house, okay? Not backyard, because the house is really surrounded by this so beautifully. Okay, so just the description is like a garden. Now number 19. Yatra Pravishtam Atmanam Vibhuda Anuchara Jaguhu Vapyam Utpala Gandhinyam Kargamena Upalalitam. Now, this is the place where, remember, Devahuti had lived with her husband, Kardama Prajapati, and they were enjoying life like a Grahasthan should do. And as Kardama Prajapati didn't leave anything wanting for his wife. And he is carrying out his promise to Bhagavan, right? And when all the daughters were born, and then when he wanted to go and do the tapas and leave the household, then Devahuti asked him, Swami, what is this? You are leaving me all alone, and I don't have anyone. The girls are all going to be married and go away. So who's going to be looking after me? Then Kardama said, don't worry. Remember what Srimad Narayana said. He himself will be born to you and teach you Sankhya Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, and a pathway to merge with Bhagavan. And for that, you do the tapas. And that is, again, I'm going back and reviewing what we studied earlier. So this is the palatial, luxurious, opulent, leaves nothing to be desired. I mean, the kind of things we are fighting for today, going after material wealth, imagine, this is so supreme. Even the devas were wanting this, were desiring this. It was even such supreme place it was, with such a beautiful garden and everything. Yatra, in that garden, the Pravishtam Atmanam, there was a beautiful pond. Okay? And in that pond, in that beautiful swimming pool, whatever you want to call it, I mean, today's language. And when Devahuti went there to take a snanam, Gandharvas also entered along with her, like the way we have when it's Manasarovar. Devas come there every morning, Brahma Muhurtam, to take a snanam in that and then go back. Even today we can see that. Same way, Gandharvas came. And Gandharvas sing. What were they singing? The praise of the glory of Kardama Prajapati. While she was taking her back, they were singing the glory of Kardama Prajapati, which was like a phenomenal succor to her. Kardama Prajapati was taking care of her all around. Kardamena Upalalitam. Upalalitam. See, lalitam means one meaning is to play with. Okay? But here, Kardamena, by Kardama, Upalalitam, being protected by. All around, every time, every minute, she was being protected by. That is what it means. Yatra, in which garden, Griha Vidyanam, that's the previous slokam we saw. Yatra, there, in the Vidyanam, Atmanam Pravishta, when she herself descended into the pool, Vibudha Anuchara means Vibudha means the Devas, Anuchara, who were following them, or the Gandharvas. Jagugu, they were worshipping. Vapya means the pool, what we call as kolam, place where you go and take a bath. Okay, so Yatra Vapyam Atmanam Pravishta, in which garden, in that pool, in that pond, she herself entered to take snanam. Okay. Now, that pond had Uttala Gandhinyam. Uttala means lotus flower. Gandhinyam, beautiful fragrance. Such nicely, such beautiful fragrance that lotus flower has in this pond, in which Atmanam Pravishta, she used to enter and to take a snanam in that Vapyam. At that point, Vibudha Anuchara, along the Gandharvas also entered along with her, Jamuhu, praising Kardava Prajapati, and Kardamena Upalalitam. She was being, when you hear the praise of your husband, and you know he's very much present, and that gives you tremendous succor, mental peace. That is how closely, like the way Bhagavan is taking care of you and me, not leaving us even for a kshanam. Even for a kshanam. Why does Bhagavan not sleep? Because he doesn't close his eyes. He's always looking after us and looking at us, making sure, as the beautiful slokam on Apat Dharaka Stotram that talks about Rama, how he is one step ahead of us. Wherever we go, he is one step ahead of us, carrying his kodandam in order to protect us. That's how the beautiful slokam is. That is how Kardamena Upalalikam, he was guarding her, like the eyelid guards the eye, always with her. While even when she was taking her snanam, the Gandharvas was singing Kardama Skoji. That kind of a palace house is what you're talking of. What did she do to that? Hitva tad ipsita tamam api akhandala yushitam. That which is that house, which is ipsita tamam. Tamam means very superior. Ipsita means desired. Api, it is also desired by akhandala yoshitam. The wives of the devas, the Indra and other devas, all the wives of them, they also wanted this kind of a garden, this kind of a pool. The phenomenal it is. So the api, that ipsita tamam api akhandala yoshitam. That place, hitva, she gave up. She gave up means she detached from it, not attached to it, mentally not attached to it, physically not attached to it. That is a luxurious life she lived. Being Swayambhuva Manu's daughter, herself she was extremely wealthy and opulent, and everything was in her command. And now on top of that, her husband created this, which was even so supreme, even the devas could not have it. But all of that she left behind mentally. Can you and I do that? Remember, Bhagavan comes not that easily. Only Swami shows up only where there is sacrifice. Only where there is sacrifice. Nowhere else you can find Bhagavan. Where there is sacrifice, there is Bhagavan. That's a basic rule, basic truth, not rule. So Hitva, she gave it up, and Kinchit Chakara Vadanam Putra Visleshana Atura. Hitva Tad Ipsitatamam Api Akandala Yoshitam. Kinchit chakara vadanam putra visleshana atura. Now, before she was married, she was under the care of her father, Swayambhuva. Once she got married, her husband took care of her. She came under the care of her husband, right? Kanto Prajapati, who provided everything for her, took care of her very well. Then once the husband left, who took care of her? Her son. And he took care of her in the most exalted, the supreme way, the panacea way, teaching her the Atma Vidya, right? And that Putran, Kapila, Bhagavan, right? Kapila Muni, whatever you want to call him, Putra Visleshana, after Visleshana. Visleshana means being separated from. When you have Bhagavan's darshan, and when Bhagavan disappears, after darshan is over, there is a tremendous void, a yearning that says, oh my God. No. Even though you know Bhagavan is with you all the time, in every place, in all around, in every direction, but still having the darshan of the human form is something very special. Even the great rishis were yearning and waiting for it, to see Bhagavan in Manushya Rupena. So many rishis were waiting in the forest to have a glimpse of Rama's darshan. It is not easy. Bhagavan has to grant that. So here he came and he went. And that Visleshana, being separated from Atura, it's suffering not in terms of mental suffering or physical suffering or painful suffering. No, it is not suffering. That Atura means generally suffering. Here it means your yearning that has become even stronger. As a true bhakta yearns for Bhagavan, because Bhagavan's contact with Bhagavan and experiencing him is insatiable. It doesn't matter how much you have, it is not enough. How many times you hear Krishna's story, it is not enough. You want more and more. How many times you hear Sundarakantam, it is not enough. Because you want to hear more and more. That sweetness, that madhuram, that yearning, that is a feeling she had, Atura. And kinchit chakara. And chakara means, people say, she is sad and all that. It is not so much sadness, because you are never sad after you had Bhagavan darshan, especially when you had sambhashan, so much teaching and all that. No, it is not. It is the yearning, Swami, when am I going to see you again? That's all that you're fully for. If you are thinking anything, that's all you're thinking of. Or you're completely immersed in the divine immersion that you have had. Okay? That is kinchit chakara vadanam. Her face was like that. Okay, vadanam means in this case face. Completely immersed only in the thoughts of Bhagavan, who was born as her son, and whose separation now she is feeling very much yearning to be with him, yearning to be back with him. That's the feeling that she had, because these opulent materialistic attractions meant nothing to her. Hitva, mentally full detachment. That is sacrifice. Bhagavan says, you want to surrender to me? Be prepared. At any time, at any place, I'll ask you to give up everything. Everything you have. Are you prepared to do that? Is the question he asked. Okay. And that's what she did. So, Hitva tat ipsitatamam api akhandala yoshitam kinchit chakara vadanam putra visleshana atura. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Samastalokaha Sukino Bhavantu. Samastalokaha Sukino Bhavantu. Samastalokaha Sukino Bhavantu. Om Santiksan Tiksan Pihi Harihi Om.